The clang of the metal detector echoed in my ears, a cruel parody of a church bell tolling for the death of my brother's freedom. I watched, heart twisting in my chest, as Daniel, his shoulders slumped with defeat, disappeared through the heavy doors of the courthouse, his future uncertain, his spirit broken. It had been a year since our lives had been ripped apart, a year of agonizing court dates, mounting legal fees, an annoying sense of injustice that gnawed at my soul. Daniel, my older brother, my protector, my confidant, had been accused of a crime so heinous, so out of character, that I refused to believe it. It had started innocently enough, a house party on the outskirts of town, a night of drunken revelry that ended in tragedy. A fire, a missing girl, and Daniel, last seen arguing with the victim, emerging as the prime suspect. The evidence, circumstantial but damning, painted a bleak picture. Witnesses claimed to have seen Daniel arguing with the victim, his voice laced with anger. A lighter, identical to one Daniel owned, was found near the scene of the fire. And most damning of all, a witness, a girl with a shaky voice and shifty eyes, claimed to have seen Daniel fleeing the scene moments before the flames erupted. The trial was a media circus, our small town suddenly thrust into the national spotlight, the air thick with suspicion and judgment. I watched, powerless, as the prosecution methodically built their case, their words like poisoned arrows aimed at my brother's heart. Daniel, once so full of life, his laughter contagious, now sat in the courtroom, a ghost of his former self, his eyes vacant, his spirit crushed by the weight of the accusations. The jury, swayed by the prosecution's narrative and the relentless media frenzy, delivered their verdict, guilty. As the judge read the sentence, 15 years to life, I felt a primal scream building in my throat, a visceral reaction to the injustice unfolding before me. But I choked it back, knowing that tears and recriminations wouldn't help Daniel. He needed me now, more than ever. "I'm going to get you out of here," I vowed, my voice a low murmur in the hushed courtroom. Daniel, a flicker of hope momentarily igniting in his eyes, managed a weak smile.
"I know you will, sis. I believe in you."
Those 5 words, spoken with unwavering faith, became my mantra, my guiding light in the darkest of times. I quit my job, took out a second mortgage on my apartment, and poured every ounce of my being into proving Daniel's innocence. I spent countless hours poring over the case files, searching for inconsistencies, for any shred of evidence that could have been overlooked. I tracked down witnesses, their memories clouded by time and alcohol, their stories riddled with contradictions. I even befriended a retired detective, a gruff but kind man who saw a spark of determination in me that reminded him of his younger self. Months turned into a year, each day a grueling marathon of dead ends and false hope. But I refused to give up, fueled by the unwavering belief that the truth, however deeply buried, would set my brother free. Then came the breakthrough, a chance encounter that changed everything. A woman, her face obscured by a hooded sweatshirt, approached me after one of Daniel's parole hearings.
"I know what really happened that night,"
she whispered, her voice trembling.
"I saw everything."
Her story, when she finally shared it, sent chills down my spine. The fire, it turned out, wasn't an accident. The missing girl, the supposed victim, had staged the whole thing, fueled by a misguided desire for revenge against Daniel, who had rejected her advances. The witness, the girl who had pointed the finger at Daniel, had been coerced, threatened into corroborating the story, and the lighter, planted. The real arsonist, a troubled young man with a history of pyromania, had fled town shortly after the fire, his conscience finally getting the better of him. Armed with this newfound evidence, I confronted the authorities, my voice trembling with a mixture of anger and determination. The district attorney, initially dismissive, finally agreed to reopen the case, his skepticism melting away as I presented him with irrefutable proof of Daniel's innocence. The retrial was a whirlwind, the media frenzy that had once condemned Daniel now turning in his favor. The truth, like a dam finally breaking, washed over the courtroom, exposing the lies, the deceit, and the miscarriage of justice that had robbed my brother of his freedom. The jury's verdict this time was swift and decisive, not guilty. As Daniel emerged from the courthouse, his face bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, a free man at last, I ran towards him, tears streaming down my face, a mixture of relief, joy, and overwhelming love washing over me. We embraced, clinging to each other as if our lives depended on it, the nightmare finally over. In that moment, surrounded by the cacophony of reporters' questions and the click of cameras, all that mattered was that my brother was home, his name cleared, his spirit unbroken. The experience, though harrowing, had forged an unbreakable bond between us, a testament to the enduring power of family, love, and the unwavering belief in the triumph of truth. We had stared into the abyss, faced our darkest fears, and emerged, scarred but not broken, stronger than ever before. And in the quiet moments, when the memories threatened to resurface, I would remember Daniel's words, whispered with unwavering faith, "I believe in you." And that, I knew, was all that truly mattered.